Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well, as much as I am. Today we are going to debrief for the race. So let's just check. Okay. So I hope you're good. Oh no. Alright. So we're going to talk about the qualifying session that has taken place a few hours ago. And it was pretty crazy. So, I'm just waiting for some people to just speak aloud. All right. So, firstly, we are going to talk about Q1, I think. I was gonna say, firstly we are going to talk about Q1, then about Q2, and at the end about Q3, but also about the drivers and teams' performances, how good or bad they did for this qualifying session. Alright, so firstly Q1, so it was pretty messy. So we had one red flag with 10 minutes remaining on the clock because Nick Devries has crashed in the wall at turn 3. Apparently he said he had a brake-by-wire issue, which we don't know yet, but the session was stopped for some time. Then the session resumed. Not for very long because Pierre Gasly has crashed his Alpine at the exit of I don't remember the corner. I think it was let me just remember. I think it was the exit of turn 3, I think, but I'm not sure at all. Yeah, probably it was that. So then it was ending his miserable day because he had an engine issue, more like hydraulic issue, in FP1, which didn't allow him to make a lot of laps, and then he had his crash during Q1, which put him into P19 for Sunday's race. It's not a good position, especially in the Alpine when you know what potential the car has. So it's not a good sign for him. So the drivers eliminated in Q1 were De Vries, Gasly, Magnussen and Hulkenberg, and then drove for 200ths of a second behind Ocon, who just passed into Q2. So let's talk about Q2. Q2 was a bit maybe a bit surprising. It was not as crazy as Q1. But the main surprise was Russell out of Q1. He was improving on his lap, but then he made a mistake after turn 16. He went skating on the curb, and that didn't allow him to make lots of improvements. Ocon was also a bit disappointing, only P12, but not bad after considering he missed part of FP1 due to an issue with his car. So it was a disastrous day for Alpine. P12 and P19 for Sunday's race is not very good at all. So I don't remember who was out already, so just let me check. So it was Russell, Ocon, Albon, Bottas and Sargent who were out. Albon was being probably impeded by Carlos Sainz during his flying lap, which prevented him to maybe go into Q3. So it's a bit unfortunate for him, because the Williams was looking very good in Q1. In practice it was very fast, especially on the straight. So they could have done something very great, but they didn't have the opportunity. Maybe in the sprint they could maybe score 1 or 2 points, which would be already very good, but we don't know. So Bottas also a bit disappointing. The Alfa Romeo only P14 and P16 for Sunday's race. We already saw them better this season. Then we go into Q3. So it was a bit surprising, because Ferrari was looking very good. Ferrari was looking better than they did in the previous races, and Leclerc managed to take pole. Firstly, he did the same time as Verstappen on his first flying lap, which was 1:44.45 if I'm not wrong. And then on his second flying lap, he took pole position by almost 0.2 of a second in front of Verstappen. Verstappen in P2, it's his first front row start for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So it's quite a milestone. Perez P3, Sainz was P4, Hamilton P5, Alonso P6, Norris P7, Tsunoda P8, Stroll P9, and Piastri P10. So now let's talk about the drivers' performances. So we're gonna start from P20 and we're gonna go up to P1. So De Vries, it's a bit sad for him. We don't know what he can do. In FP1 he was looking very good with a solid P6 on the same tires as the top runners. But yeah, he will have to start Sunday's race from last on the grid. Let's see what he could do tomorrow by starting, because we have the sprint shootout and the sprint race, so maybe it will be better. And then Sunday's race, from which he will start last. Gasly, disappointing of course. Even though he was improving on his lap, he just messed it after turn 3. So it's very bad for him, for Alpine, because you know they need some parts after their double crash in Australia, which as a French fan I don't want to see again. So yeah, it's not a good thing for him, for the team, and for his confidence. So we'll start 19th tomorrow. It was not his day at all, because he already had some kind of issue in FP1 which prevented him to make lots of laps. He only did 7 laps if I'm not wrong, so yeah. Magnussen on P18, he got an issue apparently. His engineer at the end of Q1 told him to pit, so we don't know what he could have done, but it's a bit disappointing. The other Haas is in front of him, P17. Hülkenberg was pretty disappointing compared to what we previously see during the season, so it's not very good for him, unfortunately. Joe 16th, he missed out on Q2 by just 0.02 of a second, but the Alfa Romeo is not looking very fast, unfortunately. I don't think they will score any point for this weekend, unlike in Australia and Bahrain, where they score firstly 4 points and then 2 points in Australia. So yeah. Sargent, he did very good with his P15. For now, he's pretty impressive. I'm gonna be honest. I was not expecting him to do that good. I was expecting to be a bit disappointing, but he's doing really, really good. He's already only 2 or 3 tenths behind Albon in terms of quali pace. So yeah, it's very, very good for him. He's developing well as a rookie, so it's good for him. Good performance. Bottas P14, there is nothing much to say. It was a pretty average performance, considering that the Alfa Romeo was pretty bad, so yeah. Albon in P13, he could have done way better, but if I'm not wrong, he got impeded by Sainz during his second final lap, which prevented him to improve. He could have done better considering the result of Q1 and also FP1. FP1, I think he ended up in 8th or 9th place, if I'm not wrong. So yeah. Ocon, a bit disappointing performance from the Alpine driver. He's been doing quite... no, I won't say anything wrong. So it's a bit disappointing for the Alpine. They don't have any car into the top 10. So it's gonna be a tough day on Sunday for them. Unless they can make a good recovery or have a lot of luck. I don't see them making a very good result. But we never know. Now, George Russell, it was the biggest disappointment of the qualifying session for sure. He missed out on Q2 by 4 thousandths of a second behind his teammate Lewis Hamilton. The Mercedes, which were not looking fast at all in Q2, they almost got both taken out. Hamilton was just P10, he was in Q3, but just for his 4 thousandths in front of his teammate. But yeah, in his second final lap, Russell in turn 16 just went skating into the curb, skating on the curb. Yeah, sorry for my terrible English, I know. So he just went skating on the curb, and he lost a precious lot of tenths of a second. So yeah. So Oscar Piastri in P10, so it's a good performance for him. It's been very decent for him after all the struggles he had since the start of the season. He was often behind his teammate in terms of pace, so yeah, it's good for him. Stroll P9, we could have expected more from the Aston Martin, but they are not helped because they don't have an insane top speed compared to the Red Bulls or even the Williams. So they are losing quite a lot of time on the straights, but they are doing good in corners. So maybe on hard tires they could do very good in the race on Sunday and maybe on the sprint also. So Tsunoda in P8. So it's been a very good improvement from AlphaTauri. They were almost both out in Q1 in the last races, and Tsunoda managed to get into Q3 and take 8th place, 4 forced out for tomorrow, so it's a good improvement. Norris in P7, there also Norris a very good improvement there, first Q3 of the season for him after 2 Q2 eliminations and 1 Q1 elimination. It's very good. I think he's saying God thank you. So Alonso in P6, so it's not as good as it was in the previous races, but it's still pretty amazing considering how bad was the Aston Martin last year. They've made lots of improvements. I think we can say thanks to Sebastian Vettel who helped to develop the car for this year, so it's a very good performance from the team. Hamilton in P5. So at the end of Q2 it was scary, was only P10 as I said. he got to Q3 by only just 4 thousandths of a second. It was a bit scary after the end. And in FP1 they were also struggling, but they did their laps on mediums. So yeah, let's see what they can do during the race and the sprint tomorrow. So now we up to the 2 first rows. Sainz in P4, so it's good performance from the Ferrari, but it's almost a full second behind his teammate, which is not good at all. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing from Sainz. I think his seat might be under consideration by the end of the season because he made quite a lot of mistakes. Ferrari said they were getting used of his excuses, so yeah, I think he will need to improve if he wants to stay at Ferrari for longer because yeah. Perez in P3, so it's a good performance from him. So let me just check the gaps. I don't remember, so let me just check the gaps. Alright, so I'm checking on Twitter. So Perez was still a bit far off compared to his teammate. He was 3.5 tenths behind. So it was no, it was not. Yeah, it was this one. So it's a bit disappointing for him. I think he can, if he doesn't improve a lot in qualifying, I think he can make a cross on the championship. He has already 15 points behind, and it's not really easy to come back from 50 points, especially when your teammate is faster. So yeah. Verstappen in P2. So the Red Bull was looking not as fast as before, even though it was P1 in FP1s, but yeah, still a front row for him, so it's a good performance. I think we'll be happy with that. And then we have Charles Leclerc on pole position. So it's pretty incredible considering how bad they have been doing for the first three races of the season and how much bad luck and how much bad luck did he had. So yeah, it's a bit of a relief for them, for Ferrari. So it's his first pole of the season, his third consecutive pole in Azerbaijan also. He got pole in 2021, 2022 and 2023. So yeah, very good for him. Let's see if he can turn this into a victory for Sunday. So now we finish with the teams. So we're gonna start with AlphaTauri. So they're looking very decent compared to earlier this season. They were looking very bad, and that's mainly why Franz Tost has announced his retirement from CEO, from team director of AlphaTauri. So yeah, it could be that, but yeah, he was not trusting his engineers at all. So we could have seen that coming. So, but yeah, they could score some points on Sunday, and maybe also on the sprint if they manage to do a good performance. Alpine, pretty disappointing, not gonna lie. Firstly, FP1 was a disaster for him. They were P18 and P19 with only a few laps on the board. So reliability is still not fixed for them. And in terms of qualifying pace, it was not looking that good, unfortunately. So it's gonna be a tough day for them. Haas, not gonna lie, disappointing. They have no pace in qualifying whatsoever. We'll start from the 9th row, so it's not very good for them. But I think they don't have as much top speed as the others. because you really need top speed on this track because of the long straight, which is almost 2 kilometers long. So yeah, Alfa Romeo disappointing also. They can show better pace than this. P14 and P16 is not enough for them. We are not in 2021. Yes, they need to reiterate their performances from 2022 when they could go in Q3 very often. So yeah, it's not enough for now. Williams is looking pretty decent. They are really helped with their in-zone top speed. They can do very good. So maybe in race pace they could do some good job. Maybe get lots of good overtakes with DRS and slipstream, because they have a very low drag, so a very good top speed, and that helps a lot for a track like Baku. Mercedes are pretty strange this weekend. In FP1, both Hamilton and Russell were complaining about brake issues, and the pace wasn't really there, even though they set their times on medium tires. But yeah, seeing a car out in Q2 is never a good thing for Mercedes. So yeah, they are P5 in P11, so it's not enough for them. They said they wanted to fight for the championship, and I think it's already over for them. Next, McLaren. It's incredible how much progress they have made since Australia, since Saudi Arabia. It's incredible. They were fighting for the last places, and now they have both cars in Q3. So it's yeah, pretty good, very good improvements. They have bring a lot of new parts for the race. So maybe it helped a lot, but I think yeah, it was that. Maybe the new parts on the car which helped to improve the car performance. Aston Martin. So it's not gonna be an insane weekend for Aston Martin, I think, because they don't have the best top speed of the grid. They are good in corners, but not very good in terms of top speed. So yeah, P6 and P9 is not really surprising, but I think they can do I think they can still score a lot of good points. Then we have Ferrari. Ferrari is pretty surprising. They have made lots of improvements also. They have been fighting for pole position, for top positions, which weren't possible 4 weeks ago in Australia, when they were fighting for P4 or P5 and not for the podium. So Ferrari still doesn't have a podium since the start of the season. So it's not a good start for them. They only have 26 points. It's not a lot at all. So yeah, it's great to see them back, at least for this race. But if they can score lots of good points, it would be very good. Even a podium will be very satisfying, considering how they've been doing in the first races of the season. And then Red Bull, not as fast as in the previous races. It's a bit surprising, because we were expecting them to be still faster than the others, because you could see how much gap did they had in the last races. They had good cornering, good top speed. They had maybe the perfect car and a very good driver pairing. So yeah, let's see what they can do for Sunday's race. But yeah, all right. So I think we are going to stop, because there is nobody chatting. I don't need to wait. So thanks to everybody who watched this debriefing. If you want more debriefing like this, tell me in the chat or in the comments. Maybe we'll do more. So thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow and Sunday for the live streams on my second channel, Formula Watch Along. Bye, see you.